Yo, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of Black Nerd Fridays. I have my lovely co-host with me, KinkySudz, aka the Queen of Cosplay on a Budget, and of course, is myself here, Ren, aka BlackBeerdedNerd, aka Mr. Refined. And today we're going to be discussing one of my favorites, one of the classics that I just absolutely love. This movie. This is in my top of movies just all around for a lot of
Yes,
different reasons. The
yes.
Nightmare Before Christmas, Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. And the topic we're going to discuss before we get into the beer is going to be Halloween Christmas. And the reason I say that is because which holiday is your favorite and why? We're going to talk about that and how it ties into the movie. So, anyways, what beer are you drinking on? Let's talk about that. What beer you got?
Well, I wanted to sing some praises for Dave on the show because he has finally got his opportunity to brew his beer. And it was
Mm,
part of Oak Park's Brew Your Story, which, if you guys don't know about it, go check it out. They have an Instagram page, they also have a website where brewers, black brewers, and black breweries can share their story of how they got into beer. And I think it's a fabulous little endeavor that they're doing where they're trying to like connect people and their stories. I think knowing that yes, we know that black breweries are under 1% in all of the total breweries in the U.S., but again, just the fact that there are unique stories behind each of them, so you can't just assume that because they're black that every person's going to have the same story. So I think that
fact.
this whole idea of brew your story is a very fantastic campaign that they got going on. So you can actually still submit your stories, I think, if you want to be a part of it as well. And they do highlight that on their Oak Park page as well as Brew Your Story page as well. But
Hmm.
D, Beer Talk Now, had did a old fashioned strong ale, and this one here is amazing because this is orange peel, orange zest, brown sugar. Okay,
I love
so
it.
it's a sweet citrusy type of feel to it. And he used Centennial and Cascade hops, which to me it's like right. So if you guys remember my beer, Scarlet was sitting at 12 and a half.
Yep.
And D was like, I need to knock this out the park because I'm going to go big, go home. And he has
Hmm.
this sitting at, as a strong ale, let's just put that out there, at 13%. 13%. So I wanted to give a shout out to him on this. I know he's been waiting to do this for a very long time. And
He
I'm so
definitely
excited to
has.
see that he was able to do this, especially and also the other part for the Brew Your Story, they did a Jubilee, the People's Jubilee, which is a fantastic event that they did. So I just wanted to say, hey, I just wanted to say this. I'm so proud of D for this. I'm so happy for him. So just to show you what this looks like, look at that color. Come on.
Beautiful,
Look at that
gorgeous.
color. And it
And as I
smells
said, I
amazing.
love that Nola glass, by the way.
Mm.
Absolutely
Mhm.
love it.
So
Love
that's what
it.
I'm drinking.
Okay. All
Hello.
right. Let's get it. We got the whole crew here today. We all here.
She's
Everybody's
just
in
she's
town,
just
and I know
he's
D's
just
only
jumping
gonna
now.
be here for like a quick little drop in, pretty much. But either way, D, what you drinking on? If you're drinking at all, let's
Yeah, man. I can only be light today. So
that's all
I had to
good.
had to pull mine out one time. You know what I'm saying?
Let's
Shout
get
out
it. Let's
Suds.
get it.
Shout out Suds for that good old inspiration. Like, man, gotta make this happen. Shout out to the Strong Ales. This is a
Yes.
good beer, man. I think it's aging well, even though it hasn't been that long. It's only been almost 3 weeks going on a month.
Yes.
So 13%. If you like old fashioned cocktails, like this is the one for you. And yeah, I'm just ready to pour up, man. Ready to talk about it. I didn't finish all of Nightmare Before Christmas. I was trying to watch it at work and have conversation at the same time, which didn't happen. But I got through most of it. I kind of remember the ending, even though I didn't get all the way to there. But I know it was a happy ending, I think, in my mind. So
Here's
let's talk about
Halloween.
it.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah, you're
Halloween.
right. You're right.
And I'm
He's
about to
he's
pour
right.
up.
Here's
It was
Halloween.
definitely a good ending. It was definitely a good ending. Well, here's what I got today. I'm actually excited about what I got going on, and it's gonna kind of tie into what we're talking about. So, a
Uh-oh.
brother sent me this. I'm gonna say almost a year and a half ago.
Look at
St.
you
Herb.
Okay,
being
okay.
look at
Yeah,
you
Pumpkinator,
being clean.
2019, by the
Yes.
way. Um,
Pumpkinator, go.
this is 10.5%. It's a
Ooh.
stout, Imperial Pumpkin Stout. Never had it
Nice.
before. I'm super, super pumped to try this right now. So I'm sure it's gonna be hitting. I'm gonna show you how it looks once I pour it up and do my thing as usual. Besides that, how's everybody's day been going? Mine has been good. How y'all day been?
No, busy, man. Out here, job number 2 in a little bit.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I
Training
know how
too,
it
so
is.
training, kicking my ass left and right. You know, this one she stayed up till about 5 last night or this morning. So, you know, another
Yeah,
day.
that listen, dad life. I already know what it is.
Man, what
Well,
you
yo,
I don't know
mean?
what that's like. I don't know what that's like. Hashtag
you
no
definitely
kids.
don't.
Don't do it,
You
son.
definitely
Hashtag
don't.
no kids.
I ain't mad at you. I ain't even mad at you. You already know what it is. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's get into it. What's the good, the bad, and the
man.
ugly of the Nightmare Before Christmas?
You
So
know, you should go with D because we went with
Yeah,
D
that's
last
right. I
time.
try to rapid
Go
fire
with
myself out here.
Rapid
that's
fire.
exactly who I'm going with.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Just
with the
because
good.
I know he gonna be getting out of here. So D,
Okay.
let me know what's your good on this movie. You know, even though you ain't finished it.
No, I mean, come on, man. If you ain't seen Nightmare Before Christmas, you playing yourself. Man,
Facts.
shout out to Tim Burton for real.
Facts.
This was when I say it's a classic, just looking at it in HD now is just like, man, this thing I think this is what a lot of movies are missing. They rely too much on CGI. I know a lot of people like to say, but what about Avatar, the movie that used pretty much all CGI?
Yep.
I was like, yeah, but you still, I mean, come on, we talking about stop motion with puppets. Like this thing, hands down, just the singing, the voice acting, like the story, even though very simple, it still was like, oh man, this is just something where you could sit back and lose yourself into watching it, and that's why I say it's good.
That's what's up. Okay, I respect that. So let's go to our other co-host over here. What's your thoughts on it? I want to know. And I'm sure you're gonna have something.
Listen, this was one of my all-time favorites as a kid. I mean, you get to actually have it where a scary character, right? A skeleton, like every single character in here was considered to be a scary character, and yet they gave them emotion. They gave them this kind of this 3D feel to them of they actually had feelings. They had all kinds of stuff. So to me, I thoroughly enjoyed it when I was a kid, and it was great rewatching it. It reminded me so much of just the joy I had when watching it. And of course, the stop animation is like always one of my all-time favorites. Which anytime any movie in present day does that, I get so excited. Like Mr. Fantastic Fox.
Yes.
I get really excited about those type of movies. So anytime I see any movie like that, I have to stop and watch it. And this is part of the reason why is because of The Nightmare Before Christmas. So for me, I absolutely loved it. I think it was a really nice film that kind of wrapped up really nicely. I did, when I was younger, wish that they did sequels to kind of show him crashing other holidays as well, which would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But, and I know they had talked about that for a while, but I think they did it they did do a sequel, but it was in written form. But it was giving from the character of the Ragdoll Queen. But I don't think they really missed a great opportunity to try and have it where he crashed at the holidays. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have no bad, no ugly with it. So you can just skip right past me on those next two.
All right, listen. I'm with it. Well, before I get into that, let me show you how this joint poured up.
Look at that! Look at that!
How pretty that is!
You already know it's about to go down. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers, man.
Nice. Yeah. Cheers to you guys. I missed you guys last week, so it's good to see y'all this week.
Definitely missed you too. All right, we're gonna get into it. Let me talk about my joint. So listen, obviously this is my month. I picked this movie. This movie, it reminds me of being a kid. It gives me those vibes. And just let's keep it 100. Pretty much anything that Tim Burton is involved with, whether it be actually live action or stop animation, is just fire. From Edward Scissorhands to The Nightmare Before Christmas. Listen, even Batman Returns. You know, let's go forward to Corpse Bride. Let's talk about Coraline. Just anything that he's involved in, especially on that aspect, is crazy. And he always knows how to pick the right person to do the music, which is Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman does all the music in there, the symphony, the orchestra, all that stuff. So it's on point. The storyline was dope. The behind the scenes stuff that went on with it, and like the message that was behind it, that I don't want to get into it till later, but I just thought it was very, very good. And to consider that it's a Halloween movie, but it has some Christmas elements. As kids, we're scared of that character. We're normally scared of Jack Skellington. I know I was a little, shook of Mr. Oogie Boogie. I didn't really care for him that much, but Jack was my guy. And just watching this whole thing play out was very, very dope, and it was beautiful. And I still watch it every year. Whenever I feel like it, I'm watching it right now. They're playing it because, of course, it's Halloween. So Let's talk about it. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. You already know how we're gonna go with that. All right, so D, what's your bad? If you got any,
I can't even. I'm gonna go real quick. My bad is probably. I want to say like Oogie Boogie. Yeah, and not because I feel like Oogie Boogie got a lot more depth, and he might not have been at the top on the throne, but I think he embodied what Halloween was all about. At least on his end, and I just think I would I know Kingdom Hearts did the whole Nightmare Before Christmas stage, or excuse me, that whole world when they did it in Kingdom Hearts. They definitely got Oogie Boogie in there a lot more, especially as a villain. But I think overall, I would like to learn more about Oogie Boogie. That's
okay.
the only bad I got.
I like that. Very good answer. Very good answer. Okay, Subs, what you got?
Listen, man, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is just this idea of, I mean, if you think about it, I'll keep it simple. When you think about movies, they always follow the same kind of formula where there's always some big thing that goes wrong and they have to figure out, oh, I know I totally screwed this up. Sometimes I wish I didn't do that in movies. I wish they would just sometimes just let things just be completely different. But other than that, I mean, how can you be mad at him? I mean, he's Halloween. He didn't even know Christmas existed. So, I really can't give it too much bad, but sometimes I just wish they would change it up a bit. But again, this is a 1993 film, right? So they weren't really trying to push the boundaries back then. So
okay, I can't be mad at you. Yo, y'all kind of getting right to it today. And I'm gonna skip you on ugly. I will say that I'm gonna skip you on ugly because I know you don't have much on there, but I actually have some bad and ugly. Surprisingly, considering that this is one of my favorite movies. My bad is how they portray Halloween, as if Halloween was like worse or not the holiday to be celebrated as compared to Christmas. Me personally, I absolutely love Halloween. I love the vibes. I love the lead up to it. I love the fall leaves changing. I love the pumpkins being outside. I love the trick-or-treating aspect. And I felt like this movie was trying to make it seem like Christmas is better. And in reality, it's about what which holiday means more, or what holiday gives you cheer, or what makes you feel happy. And for myself, I absolutely love Halloween. So that was my bad. They was trying to put a negative on Halloween while putting Christmas up on a pedestal. So
that's right, man. Talk that talk.
You know what I'm saying? So D, you got any Oh, of course I love Saint Nick, but they represent that as a white man. Halloween can be just
now
anything. It can be whatever you want to believe in.
I mean, Halloween is Halloween is just bringing in the harvest. You know what I mean? Before it gets too cold and the harvest dies, so you got to celebrate that you made it through the harvest with food to eat.
Facts.
My ugly, man, just the way the doctor and how he was treating Sally. You know what I mean? Like I didn't like the doctor at all. I'm just like, bro, who are you? Like I think watching it in retrospect now is just like, yeah, I dislike that guy completely. And then Sally definitely had a lot of intelligence, but they still, I think the Suds, I'm surprised she didn't point this out, that whole damsel in distress, but not really type of situation. And strong, but still want to be with the protagonist, I guess. But yeah, I just don't like the doctor, man. Like the doctor can get too to the face. You know what I
mean? Oh, you're crazy with that one. Okay, all right. Let me see what we got. So you ain't got no ugly on here, right? You have no ugly at all.
Okay. It's a kid's movie, man.
All right, I'm gonna let that slide.
I had to throw my ugly.
To me, my ugly would be more of, again, how when you think of holidays, specifically these two, they're geared towards trying to do something. For me, it's like, all right, you're buying candy to give out to kids. And the focus is on that. And on the flip side, you have Christmas, which is you're spending money to give to somebody else. And when it comes to this movie, both holidays were being pushed in a way that you're supposed to be celebrating them, but we all know the meaning, or supposed to be the purpose behind it for American value wise, is it's money being spent. So that was my ugly, because I understand how that works and how they're trying to portray that message subtly through there. But that's it. It's, I love this movie. I can't really chop it down that much like that. It is what it is. So we're going to move on to the next thing. And yo, by the way, this joint, fire.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not a pumpkin beer guy. This is fire.
I hate pumpkin beers. I can't.
Me too. I'm not That's not my
Bring me all the pumpkin spice. Okay, I'm for it.
Oh,
I want
you
pumpkin.
that person. Ah,
I want the
pumpkin
ginger.
spice
I want
latte.
the gingerbread man cookie.
Yeah.
Ginger. I want it all.
All
Throw
right.
that in
So
the
next
stout.
question. What was your thoughts on Jack? And again, we already know we're going right to D first.
Come on, man.
You know,
Thank you. I'm telling you, I'm hitting it with the rapid fire, man. I got 30 minutes.
Let's get it.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Now with Jack, definitely just his character in the beginning, I think it was twofold. He was quote unquote bored because he was just at the top. And as the saying goes, it's lonely at the top, even though everybody want to get to the top of the mountain. And also it was narcissism too, in the sense that because he was so good at what he did, he wanted to take something. Like it was a scene where he had saw Christmas and was really trying to figure out what was this thing that was bringing people joy, something that he was really void of seeing and void of feeling, because the thing is we're really tied into that emotion. And it took him in that one scene where he was like, I want to understand Christmas. No, I want it to be it should be for everybody. No, it should just be for me. And I was like, okay, you want to be controlling. And then it took him to Sally try to tell him like, hey, you're the position that you're in, like you're not only master of your craft, but that's who you are. You're that dude. And it took him to get shot down. Spoiler alert. I mean, come on, this movie. But it took him to get shot down after doing all these things and doing it all.
He went to the Matrix. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, he didn't pull a Neal.
Oh, did I disappear? Y'all hear me or no?
Yeah, you have froze up a little bit. But
oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, he just really went from narcissism to controlling to finally realizing that all of what he did was like it was just to get his experience. And then he was like, dang, I don't want to mess up Christmas, because that wasn't the point. The point was me to find something new. But he just was in such this drive to like, I got to find it, that he didn't care. He left everybody to the wayside. You know what I mean? He was just like, I'm going to do it. And that's what it is. Sally, get the hell out of my way. I know you gave me this magic potion and all this stuff like that, but it's a wrap. I'm going for it. That's right.
All right, so what you got on it? What's your answer?
Let me tell you, Jack, I felt as though with Jack, he embodied what happens when you deny someone the knowledge of something out there, right? We see it all the time. They talk about this all the time with kids. When you sit there and you try to block them and protect them as much as you can from the other things that are going out in the world, that when they finally get to learn about it, they kind of just do this deep dive. Yeah. They're like, well, I don't know what this is. I was never warned about it. So he kind of just went off the deep end, which made sense to me, right? I think the other thing about it too was just like, he was like, why can't I be a part of it? You know, we have these doors that lead to all these other towns, and I never even knew this was out here in the middle of the forest. So he goes out there, he goes and finds out, like, what is this? What is snow? Like, all these things, right? Of course, you know, we've seen the memes of them changing what he sings on that song, but it is kind of just like, you have to think about it. Dude went into a new place. He never even knew this existed. He was getting to a point where he wasn't being challenged to do anything new. Like, everybody's like, oh, all hail, you know, the king. And then he's like, yeah, but I want something different. I want something that's going to awaken something in me. So to me, I understood it. Now, of course, he did go a little bit off the crazy end. But again, this is his first time seeing snow, first time learning that Santa Claus exists, first time knowing that people actually give gifts and are not scaring kids. He's like, what is this? Like, so to him, it was a high, and he was just like, I need more and more and more of it. So I don't knock him for it. I do wish he would have at least stopped and listened to others. But again, you know, you can't fault him for it. He had no idea. He came to his senses eventually. And I do think it was nice that Santa Claus forgave him. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it. But it was still just nice the fact that he was like, you know what? You don't know this. So let me help you out with a little bit of holiday cheer. So I liked him a lot.
Yeah, that's what's up. I like that. For myself, first off, like I said, it's my mom's birthday today, so
shout out to moms.
Happy birthday, mommy. You already know what it is. My thoughts on Jack, and she loved Jack, by the way, and actually I do too. Jack, to me, was obviously he was the leader of Halloweentown, a very charismatic person, very outspoken, but also as much as he's supposed to be a bad guy, he actually had a soft and nice kind of side, which you find out later on. But he was just a well put together person, or skeleton, I should say, because he's dead. But he had some very good morals and values about himself, to where he wanted to spread what he considered Christmas into everyone else's lives, but he didn't realize that they didn't want dead bats and heads chopped off in the presents and stuff. But overall, Jack was just a very good person to me, and he was a leader that definitely led by example. And I love the fact that they showed that soft side of him, despite him being supposed to be a bad guy. So Jack was that dude, and he made the movie for me, and so did actually those little kids that was in there. Can't remember the names of the little kids, but we're gonna move on to the next question that we got here. All right, so why was Jack unhappy with Halloween?
Come on, throw me in that joint.
Throw him in.
It's the same. I mean, and spoiler alert, I'm in here gonna be going first probably all the time because I only got like 10 more minutes left. But anyway, with Jack, he just, again, this is something he's been doing over and over and over, and not just over and over, but it was just something that everyone's like, you're so great at it, you're so flawless at it. And he was like, well, I just feel like I'm missing something. Like there has to be more. Pretty much, there has to be something that I got to work at. I got to change and make something where it's a challenge. So that's just what I got from Jack.
Okay. All right. So what you got?
Listen, like you said earlier, man, Halloween is viewed as a negative, right? Like you think like Christmas is viewed as this happy joy. Everybody gets to have what they want, right? Which is why, anytime I think about movies like How the Grinch Stole Christmas or this one, it's like you had to think about it from a different perspective, right? Like sometimes Christmas isn't all that great. But in this case, Halloween was viewed as, this place where it was very scary.
You're in the Matrix right now. All right, there you go.
Right? Like it's just what it is, right? So to me, it was just like Halloween was just the same old, here we go with the pumpkins and the ghosts and the ghouls and all this. And he's like, but there's more to that. We got a whole community of people here. We got stories. Why no one cares about us? Why can't we get gifts? Why are we always the ones that have to go out and scare kids? So I think after a while, he just got tired of it. And he's just like, I want something different. Why don't we get snow? I mean, they didn't even really show leaves falling as far as I'm concerned. And Halloween is during that time where you get to crunch leaves and throw leaves at people, or drink like apple cider. Like they didn't really show that much. So it was just very one-dimensional, which I think after a while he just got tired of it.
Yes, I agree. And I was going to say the exact same thing for myself. Jack was definitely unhappy based upon he felt like it was too much redundancy going on. He was complacent. He did the same thing every year. He was the king of Halloweentown, and then the next day, here you come with the mayor, like, okay, Jack, what are we going to do next year? So he's tired of it. He's like, it has to be something else out here, and I can relate to that. Like as a human, we do a lot of redundancy. And we do the same things pretty much every day, and sometimes you need a little bit of variety or spice in your life, whether it be, trying to venture out and do something outside of your comfort zone, or just finding something different in the world. So Jack was that person that was like, you know what? I'm tired of doing this. Yes, I'm the best at it, but I'm done and over it. I'm trying to move on or find something else. So I think that's what was causing him to be unhappy. But in the end, he realized what his true purpose was. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the next question, which is, what purpose and parallels to humans did Sally have? And I'm going to get this to Suds, actually, because I'm sure she got a good question. Excuse me.
I thought you was going to sit on the D.
You got me for 7 more minutes, man. You just gonna
go ahead.
Huh? You gonna mess up the path. No, but no, I mean, with Sally, I think also that this is what I created you for. You're here to serve me. I think a lot of us in our species, we really have to. We do that with your parents, and then you do that with institutions that you are a part of, so that you can do that for a job or do that, start a business. And the thing is, it's like it's almost like you don't have like to just be free. And I think with Sally, even on that part where she just kept trying to get away, she kept trying to break from the norm. It was like that was the thing that I think made her related to humans. Yes. No, you can't. but it was just like, for me, that's all I got. I can go deeper, but like I just saw that from that part, and then definitely the aspect of like the spiritual aspect that a lot of us have times where questions about as well, because of religion and how religion has been brought to us. I mean, she got a little bit about that. She was an herbalist. Come on, let's keep it 100. You know, I mean, she had premonitions, like very intelligent. Like it's just that she didn't get to shine the way that she wanted to because someone was trying to tell her, well, I made you, or this is how you're going to be because you're just here for me. And I think we deal with that a lot as a species when it comes to our society.
I like that. So, what you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna build on that. Let me tell you, I'm gonna build on that. That to me, it was like, that happens a lot to women in our society. You have a great idea, and do they listen to you? No. Do they steal your ideas and make it sound like their own? Yes. And if you come off too aggressive, or in their view, too aggressive, oh, it's a problem, right? And she, like you said, she was highly intelligent, right? Highly intelligent. She had, tons of information. She was trying to warn him, like, hey, I don't think this is going to be right. I think we need to take a step back here and figure this out. He wasn't listening to her. So to me, it was like, again, it's similar to what I've seen countless times. I've had the same thing, happen to me in my career. It's just people don't listen to you as a woman. Like they like to dismiss you as much as possible. And like you said, she was created. So as far as they're concerned, they're like your property. You are just a thing that helped me reach an end. So to me, it was just, that was something that I had seen. You see this a lot in movies. You see it in the real world. So that to me was what I had seen with her. Unfortunately, by the time he did listen to her, it was a little too late. But again, it just further proves that sometimes women are really marginalized, and they're kind of put into a small little box and say that's where you're supposed to stay. And they do this a lot with characters in movies. I see that happen all the time.
I like that. You kind of touched on exactly what I wanted to say, and I'm gonna try to elaborate a little bit more without taking shine off of you from that.
Yeah, follow through.
Yeah, I got and first off, shout out to our fourth and fifth co-hosts, because we got Nova as the fourth co-host, and my youngest, he keeps trying to pop in every now and then, but he can't. But anyways, he left. He went back upstairs. But anyways, what I realized is, first off, you have a person who gets created by an evil scientist, I'll say. So he created her, and he had whatever his reasoning was for creating her, which to me is kind of, they're trying to be like biblical. Okay, you come from the rib of man and all this sort of stuff. So he created this woman, and you want to control her, you want to manipulate her, and she has to come to your every beck and call and all that stuff. And she didn't want that. She didn't want that life. She wanted to do what she wants. She wanted to be independent. She was very, very intelligent, which I feel like as you said, he didn't give her a chance to speak. She was marginalized. He was always calling her, Sally, come back here, as if she didn't have a mind on her own to think. And when I looked at that, it reminded me of what women go through today, especially, Black women. They make you feel like you're always angry, or you always have a chip on your shoulder. And when I watched that, and I realized Sally actually had a very true calling, which she, exposed later on, which helped out Jack and saved Halloween and Christmas. But listening to this man, this evil scientist was trying to control her. He was definitely trying to mess her life up. And that relates a lot of times to what we deal with today and what women deal with in this world today, every day with men. So Sally did her thing, and shout out to Sally on there, because she was holding it down as usual.
Sally was the MVP. She was my favorite character.
Fact.
Jack was just kind of like, yeah, Jack, we know, but Sally was the one holding it down. Sally had the most intelligent and the most skills, but I'm done talking.
Facts. All right, so this is kind of a quick little joint. We ain't really got to get in depth. In the forest, did you notice anything particular? And y'all might not have picked up on this. I'm gonna go with D. Did you notice anything particular?
I tried to pay serious attention to that first part, but nope. I just saw the trees with the different signs for the different holidays, but I feel like there was something outside of that, or maybe it's something right on there, but I had no idea.
All right. It's what about you?
To me, when I was looking at the ground, a part of me felt like when you looked at the actual pattern on the
ground. You're in the Matrix
like
again right now.
Am I? Dang it, it's doing it.
No, you good. You good.
I was just thinking, like, it made me think like when you look at the ground itself, it looked like they were inside of a tree. Like, when you think about the rings of a tree.
Yeah.
But it was also just kind of weird how the trees actually looked, right? Like it didn't, something just seemed off with it. And I do think that with each of the doors that they had, right, they had them kind of in a weird place in the forest with all these different doors leading to the other holidays. But to me, The only thing I can think of off the top of my head, when I've seen this movie several times, but just thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know, maybe it was just the way the ground looked, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm with you on that, but what I'm gonna say is I thought it was kind of weird that you had, first off, you go into the forest. There's a lot of different things happening there, and we picking up on different stuff. But my question is, when did St. Patrick's Day become like a huge holiday? I know people celebrate it, but they literally like had a shamrock on a tree as if that was one of those big holidays like Easter.
It was.
Christmas,
you get to drink.
Thanksgiving. Say it again.
You get to drink, man. The hell you mean?
Yeah,
it's a holiday.
I didn't understand the point of that, so I just wanted to see if y'all had picked up on that. Again, this wasn't nothing like too deep, but I felt like that was a little odd and weird. And to highlight that, you know what I'm saying? Again, that's just me.
But that's what they celebrate now. I mean, we got us wearing green so you don't get pinched by that stereotypical
exactly. Oh no, but
leprechaun every year.
Right. Or the thing that gets me is when they do in Chicago. What they do, they make the river green.
Yeah.
Out there in Chicago. Okay. So it's like it's a big thing. You got green beer. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a big holiday. People love to have any type of excuse to go drink. Oh, they gonna drink.
Yeah, they do it here in Buffalo.
You know what I'm saying?
I just felt like that was a little odd. That's just me. That's just
coin to your witch shop.
Oh man, I wish I had my gold coins. I would have had them.
Plenty. I'm telling
you. All right, Witcher. All right, so next one. Was there any part of this movie that showed human emotions?
Whole
We're gonna
time.
go with D. Yeah,
the whole movie, man. Jack's emotions, lonely. Sally got to deal with some crazed man that's talking about I made you and make me dinner and make me tea and tying her up to the damn experiment table and like I'm just wild stuff. But no, I had a whole bunch of, even the mayor with his I mean that part where the mayor was like, I'm just an elected official. I can't do anything by myself type of thing. Like it was just a whole lot of emotion. The werewolf, getting teary-eyed, all that stuff. So yeah, funny. the whole thing. Man. Shout out to the werewolf, man.
I didn't see that. I didn't really remember that part. Okay.
No, I mean honestly, what I thought was interesting is that you would think that Halloween would only be scary, they would be angry.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of emotions they had going on with this, right? And then you think about Santa Claus, you think he's going to be happy. He was showing a range of emotions as well. He was angry.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? What are you guys doing? Right. So I think for me, they were just trying to show that, like I said, they were trying to add a little bit more dimension to these characters. And they showed a wide range of, being frustrated with the same thing in and out. I mean, think about it. You go to work every day, right? You spend most of your time at work. And the money that you make from that is being used to pay for a house that you rarely even see. And like with Jack, he's like, I do all of this preparation for one day, and that's it. And then I get asked the very same question when it's all over. What are we doing next time? And he's like, it's the same damn thing we did today.
Talk that talk, son.
Again next year, right? So as far as I'm concerned, it was a range of emotions. Like you get tired of it day in and day out, it's the same thing over and over again. You get tired of it. And that's why, I don't fault him for saying, I'm going to take this and I'm going to go do something with it. Now, of course, he screwed everything up. But again, I can understand why he did that. You act out. You get tired of it. You're tired of paying the bills. You're tired of doing the same thing over and over again. Like, I need something different. I need a spice. I need spice in my life.
Dune spice or other spice?
Hey, that spice from Dune. Okay, so we need to talk about that one.
Yeah,
that worm poop.
Going up on a tangent.
Yeah, we ain't gonna go up on a tangent, but I just wanted to see if I was gonna get you riled up by saying that.
We'll wait till D leaves, then we'll have more time.
Yeah. We'll
come on, hurry up, keep it on task.
My actual thought was that they showed emotions through the whole thing, but one of the emotions that stood out the most to me was love. I noticed how Sally was always intrigued and was following Jack, and Jack seemed like he was missing something, and he really, in my opinion, he was yearning for that love. So I personally felt as though that was standing out more. It outshined every other emotion in it, whether it was fear, anger, sadness. Love was my biggest thing on there, and that's why I felt like the ending kind of represented that. It all tied it together. So I thought that they, showcased that very, very well. And personally, I don't remember that werewolf tearing up. I really don't.
Right, bro. I'm just saying he got sad.
Okay, all right.
Not after the werewolf got sad, man.
Yeah.
The love for the werewolf.
Why was Christmastown important to Jack?
Oh, this will be my last one
Okay.
too. I gotta get
Yeah,
off.
Go.
That.
Say
Go
it.
ahead. Christmas time is important to Jack because it was to what Sud said, what you said too, Mr. Refine. Really was just something different, something that he hadn't experienced. I mean, even when he was just walking in the woods, and he was just mulling in his brain of like, what else is there except Halloween? And he just came up to all these trees, and he was fascinated by Christmas, the Christmas tree, just because of the ornament looking. What he thought was, he was like, what is this thing? And then the tree itself and all the colors. And I think just Christmastown was a new frontier for Jack, and something else to really just more inspiration to do better, which again, at the end of the movie, again, just really putting his own twist on it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
All right, Suz, what you got?
I'm gonna tell you this much. Christmastown was important to him because it was different. It didn't have pumpkins. It didn't have, scary ghouls and goblins. It was snow. It was bright and colorful. It wasn't dark. There weren't jack-o'-lanterns. It was like lights that were different colors, and people were singing, and people were happy, and people were giving gifts. Like that to him, he was like, that is completely different from what he has been living for his entire life up to that point. He didn't even know this place existed. So for him to see something that was so joyous, right? That to me, I think, is just why it was so important to him, because he's like, I've been denied this all my life. Like, what is this? Like, when you start making a little bit of money and you start being able to tap into some things, you're like, wait a minute, hold up, wait. You guys do this, and then you get to that point, you're like, I'm gonna go buy up a whole bunch of stuff, right? But again, it's because you have been denied it for so long, and we see this all the time. Like they talk about, young basketball players, how they go out and they're like, why is he splurging on that money? So think about where he came from. Did he have these type of opportunities? Was he able to buy his mother a house or buy his father that car that he always wanted? Was he able to buy his friends or take his friends to really cool places that they had only seen pictures of? Like, think about it. So to me, that's why I always viewed Jack as like, here was his opportunity to really experience something that he never got an opportunity to do. So that's why I think it was very important to him.
I like that. And I agree with you 100%. And what I'm going to say with that is, first off, what you said, it was different. The colors were vibrant. He's seen snow. He's seen the lights. I see D just left too. He's seen the lights. He's seen a bunch of joy, etc. And when you think of Halloween, Halloween is looked at as such a negative holiday, etc. I know for myself, I really, really love Halloween. For example, I've been taking my kids trick-or-treating for the past 7 years in the exact same neighborhood. And there's specific houses that I know if I go there, it's going to be like 5 or 6 people outside, and they're going to be spreading cheer. You know what they're going to be doing? They're going to be passing out candy, but also as they're sitting around a fire, they're going to be passing out beer to the adults. Yo, listen, y'all out here, it's cold.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I
Give
like
out
that
adult
right
beverages.
there. That's dope. And I feel like we need to show that, like, as people, we need to kind of highlight that for Halloween, because Halloween, as I said, that's one of my favorite holidays. I love Christmas, but I really, really love Halloween for some odd reason. But neither here nor there. When you think about that and you think of how Jack was, he's living in this, dark, drab area, and now he's in this bright, jovial time. And Halloween is really not supposed to be that. Yeah, we make it spooky and stuff like that for a lot of different reasons, but it's really not that sort of holiday, at least in my opinion. To me, I think it's a relaxing, just happy holiday. As I said, it's in my favorite season, fall. You have a lot of beautiful leaves on the ground. You have people giving out and spreading cheer, because as I'm walking around, yeah, you have people dressed up in costumes, but mostly everybody's smiling, even adults, like they're looking at the kids with their costumes on. You're complimenting each other's costumes. So when you think of Jack, you're like, man, this guy's in this one town and it's all dark and it's sad besides them, cheering him on. And then he goes to this other place where they're not only cheering on the leader of that area, which was Santa, they're all in the same mood. They're all happy together. And I think that that's what was important to him. And like I said, that love aspect kind of ties it in, because what love is being shown on Halloween, at least in this perspective. So I felt like Christmastown was very intricate for him, and it helped open and showcase a different life for him, just in general.
Yeah, I have to agree. Totally got to agree with you on that.
All right. So what moment was pivotal for Jack?
Oh man, you listen. going out into the forest and seeing these other doors. Okay, that was like the first part. He was like, wait a minute, he's like, I'm gonna go take a walk. I gotta go figure out what's going on in life. And he's like, there's other doors? Where the hell are these other doors leading to? Like no one, there was no signs, no information about this. No one in the town knew about it. So you're gonna be like, so who decided to put these doors out in the middle of nowhere, right? Like who governs this piece of land?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the thing that really opened his eyes because he was like, this has to be more than just his life, the same thing over and over again. And he comes across these doors, and that just opened up everything for him. Like he was just like, wait, I can go into these other doors, and that's why part of me, like I said before we got on, I wish they had done a sequel to this to have it where he went to the other doors because he's like, okay, well that's there. What's behind the turkey door? What's behind the shamrock? Like all these things he could have done, and he could have been like, I'm gonna screw up all these holidays. You know, like he could have made it so like there was so much they could have done with it. But I do think that that was a part of the thing that really changed it for him a lot. I think the other thing too is like you said when he saw Santa Claus and how he was revered in Christmastown. Jack was too, but not to the same
Mm-hmm.
extent, right? Like people view Jack as like, oh, he's scary, he's a big guy. Sure,
Fact.
the boogeyman is huge, but like Jack is like really bad. And like
Mm-hmm.
Santa Claus was seen as this man who brings cheer, who brings joy. And Jack was like, I want that. I don't want to just be the scary one. So I think those two to me were like the biggest moments of he was like, no, I need to change something. I need to change. And he did. He took it upon himself to he screwed everything up, but he tried. He tried something different.
Hey, everybody, D left. He had to, take care of some obligations. So we're gonna rock out me and Suds as we always do. You know how it is. Black Nerd Fridays. We improvise. We
Ooh,
make it happen.
you know what?
So
Someone had,
go ahead.
you
My
know
bad.
what?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say one thing because someone had posted in the comments says, "Do you think it would become redundant if they did that for all the holidays?" You know what? It depends. This is where you got to have creative writers, right? Like you could make it redundant,
Uh-huh.
right? But here's the thing: is like each holiday had a different thing. You could be tackling all kinds of stuff, right? Like you could have been talking about for Thanksgiving how indigenous people were screwed over. Well, let's talk about how they could actually change the meaning of Thanksgiving and like really educate the kids if
Mm.
you really wanted to do that, right? Or the whole idea of Easter. Where did that really come from? Right? What do you mean a Easter bunny brings us candy? What does that even have to do with anything related to Easter? Like they could have done so much more with this, where they really could have expanded the minds and really educate kids in a fun way. But I do think, like you said, but the way that Hollywood does this, it would have been very redundant, and we would have gotten
Mm-hmm.
the same damn story all over again. It would be like, oh, okay, well, at this point, he would have screwed it up, and he probably would have got shot down again. But or shot trying to hand out candy with razor blades in it or something along those lines for Easter. But you get what I'm saying. But I think it would have been pretty cool if they had done something different for each holiday. They could have done so much more with that.
I agree with you, and it's funny that you said that. Who asked that question? I wonder who asked that question. That's probably
A
Lupita, maybe.
milestone follower. Come on,
Yeah.
you
Yes, that had to be
someone
Lupita.
who's been
I
with us
figured.
from
Shout
the
out to Lupita.
beginning.
She always in here. Shout out to
And
her.
she got a birthday coming up, so everybody make
Yes.
sure you say happy
Listen,
birthday to her next week.
she
Pay
said 2
attention.
days before Halloween, and we
2
we gonna
days
be
before
live, so
Halloween.
you already know what it is. We're
We're
gonna
gonna
have
have to
to
do
do
a
a
shout
shout
out
out.
with her on
We're
our
gonna have to do a
page.
shout out and do it.
Gotta do a
Have
shout
a
out.
little post with her.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got to do that because she's always here showing love. My response to that is him getting his ass shot down. He got shot out
He
the
literally
sky.
he's like
Yo, like first off, he had achieved what he thought was like the best thing ever. I'm
pinnacle.
flying high. I'm floating in the sleigh. I got my little skeleton reindeers pulling me around.
Yes.
I'm dropping off gifts and chimneys, even though none of these kids want these gifts because they're all bad in our eyes. But in Halloweentown, it's all good. And he gets the military to shoot his ass out the sky. They
Hey,
literally blew him down. He like, dang. He sat there. And he's like, wow, what am I about to do next? You know what?
he
I
was
don't need this. I'm gonna go back to what I'm good at. I'm gonna go back to what my calling is, and I'm gonna focus on that, but make it to where I can bring cheer in my own town without being that way. And like you said, Halloween is
exactly.
supposed to be this scary, scary holiday. It's supposed to be one of those dark holidays, and it's not really like that. People are walking around happy. At least in my experience, when you trick or treating and you having kids involved, people are happy. Yo, when I go to the same area, there is an actual church right over there. They have probably like 40 cars in the parking lot. they open up their trunks and they do this thing called trunk or treat. And this is all the,
Ooh.
the congregation of that church. And we go through there and they hand out hot cocoa, they hand out hot dogs and stuff like that. So that to me is something that needs to be expressed on Halloween. Again, Christmas is supposed to be spreading cheer and spreading jovial and all that. But I
Yeah.
feel the same way with Halloween. And when Jack, got shot out the sky, he
They
had
shot
that
him down.
realization. Yeah, they shot Jack down quick as hell. So he had that realization and he was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna go back to what it is and do my thing like I normally do. And on top of that, he had a lot more to offer than what he thought. Just being the quote unquote, the king, the pumpkin king, and the leader of this town.
Yeah.
He had a lot more to offer that he wasn't given a chance to highlight and showcase those talents because he was always put in that little box, which when you found out he gave a little bit of freedom, he had something else to tap into. So
But you know what? That taps into this idea of like when like the biggest thing right now. Everybody's pushing for D&I initiatives, right? And this is across all industries. And what's the first thing that they do? They always hire. They always hire a person from a diverse background, a minority, to fill that spot. And you got to say to yourself, I get why, because we provide the perspectives that a white person cannot. But there is so much more to us than just being a diversity officer. Okay, like we can run companies, we can lead HR, we can lead the lead science team, the engineering team, all these things. So you don't just keep needing to put us into the same box every single time. And that's
mhm,
why I think this movie, when you think about it a little bit more deeply, that they were always keeping them in these boxes and really making it apparent that, hey, don't step out your lane. I said, well, why not? I mean, you could actually pull some things from Halloween that I think would be really interesting, like candy. Like pull that into other holidays. You kind of do that with Easter, right? But I do think
mhm,
that Halloween had other aspects to it too. You have creativity that comes out of it. So just think about that in terms of just people in general. Like we always do that. Like we have to create these categories, and when you create the categories, a person has to stay there. And so I think a lot of times with Jack, I think a lot of people who are from, people of color would kind of identify with him. Like, look, I'm tired of being in the same box. I'm not your pet. I'm not here to serve this one purpose. I can actually make a difference. So that to me is why I think, he always spoke it was very deep to me anytime I saw him. Like, Jack, I understand where you're coming from. I get frustrated too. I
mm.
get frustrated as well.
All right, so that leads me to the next question, and we got one more after this. Then we just gonna like
Yes.
have a
Well, we're going to
free
free
for
ball it.
all. Yeah,
Oh,
we
we
just
could
gonna,
talk about Dune.
yeah, we might, we might. What was your favorite part of the movie and why?
You know what? You should keep us like this.
All
I
right.
think my favorite part, honestly, is um, definitely having to be the songs. I mean, anytime you think about
Mm,
Disney, it's the songs. The songs just were great. I mean, when you think about it, right? Like when you actually listen to the lyrics, to me, I always find it interesting when people can actually write jingles for stuff. And I
yes.
always get so excited because, like, you listen to any type of music, just the fact that people have the type of creativity to have it match the beat, to have it rhyme, to do all these different things, actually have a message behind it. Like that to me is always very intriguing. So anytime I have a Disney movie, I always get really excited about the movie, like about the songs. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I think my favorite part were all the songs that went with it. But I also think the other thing too is, like I said, they added a different dimension to these characters. That they weren't just these characters that were all about scaring people. It was really talking about the idea of they have lives. They really they are a community. And if they really want to do something more than just be scary, as like reminded me a lot of Monster Inc., where the characters were like, we scare people, but we could do so much more if we actually make them laugh. And of course, higher ups, upper management was like,
Yep.
nah,
Yep.
we ain't doing that. But
Facts.
again, I think keeping them in this category, right? So I think anytime when you look at these type of movies, I just like the fact that they were adding a different dimension. They gave a little bit more of a props to Halloween to say, look, it's not just a scary a holiday. It actually can be a fun holiday, and that there's
Mm-hmm.
more to it than just ghouls and ghosts. Like there's more to it. So to me, that was my favorite part: the
I like
music and just the story behind it.
mine. Would be the opening. Let's talk about it. It comes in literally, and it's Halloween. They're trying to make it typical, scary, and creepy. And it started off like that for me. But as I watched it and listened, yo, that music just everything. That intro scene got you amped up for the rest of the movie. And like you said, the music for Disney movies are always something that I look forward to. Let's give an example. Lion King, like I just can't wait to be king. Shoot, Frozen, Let It Go. Moana, what was the name of that song? I
Oh,
can't think of
the
it.
one at the end. I love the one at the end of Moana.
I can't think of it.
That one's one of my
But
favorites.
when you listen to Disney movies and you watching this one, you listen, you like, man, this music right here is getting you amped up and it's getting you, it's kind of setting the scene to what's going to happen. And when you pay attention to it, it was just very, very good overall. And this is probably, I'm going to say, the first movie of its kind when it comes to that animation. I don't remember seeing anything else like that, unless you're referencing like Rudolph, but that was more like claymation and stuff like that. But
Right.
it set it up so nicely, and that music through everything. And it wasn't just a dialogue. They would have dialogue while singing songs. Like this was a musical. It wasn't just a good movie, it was a musical. So that intro scene, it was setting you up to let you know, yo, this is going to be crazy. You're going to love it. It might take you down some dark roads, but it might bring you to something light as well. And that's exactly what I got out of it. And I just want to say that overall, not only was the movie fire, but the music was good. Everything kept it like it kept you entranced in there. And I remember watching it as a kid and saying to myself, who created this, which didn't understand who Tim Burton was, minus the fact I knew he was involved in Batman. Whose genius was this? Who brought this together?
Yes.
And as I got older, I understood why and the significance of it. But just overall, that intro scene, it definitely sets you up to be like, yo, this
Yes.
joint's about to be crazy. And I absolutely loved it.
Hey,
Now,
you know what? I want to
Go
call
ahead.
out something here that we've done for the first time ever.
What's that?
We finally got somebody watching us from Twitch.
What? Whoa, hold on,
I just want
hold
to call that out. That is
Hey,
woo!
I wonder who that is. I think I might know. I think I might know. I think I might know who that
Yeah,
is. All
yeah.
right, so we got final
One
question,
more
and after
question,
that, we
right?
just gonna have a free for all.
We're gonna have free ball it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, did you see any relevance or significance in this movie?
I think we've hit on this so many times, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we've hit on this so many times today. It's just the fact that, when you think about it, people get tired of doing the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
That you really have to stop and think that, in this case, that's all they knew. And I think for most people in life, because of your circumstances, you're stuck with that. You're stuck with having to stay in your lane, do what you need to do to make ends meet. And then I think in this case, there was nothing else that they were told that they could do. Like they didn't know what else was out there. So that significance to me, I think it just speaks volumes to us as a whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that again, like you said, it brings relevance to Halloween. It shows that it's more than just a scary, spooky holiday. So, I'm always going to have a soft spot for Halloween because I absolutely love dressing up. I love, getting into costumes. I love seeing kids go out for trick or treating. And when as a kid, I used to love it. I dressed up as a witch. I dressed up as a ninja, all kinds of crazy stuff. I never dressed up as a princess because that wasn't me. Um, and it was hard. Like and so here's the biggest thing I will say. When I was a kid doing Halloween, remember back in the day they had the Jasmine from Disney
Yep.
movies back in the day.
Was it
So
Aladdin?
Aladdin. Okay, let me tell you something. Back in the day, because she was wearing a two-piece, as a
Mm,
child, they had it where they had this like mesh piece in the middle that was kind of like skin color, so you
yeah.
weren't really showing skin, but you knew what it was.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the costumes, it's a two-piece. I'm like,
Mm,
now here's the thing. When I was a kid, I identified with Jasmine because she had really thick hair, and when I was younger, absolutely had tons of hair. It was thick. And she was the only character we had back then that really represented somewhat closely to me.
yes.
I always wore my Jasmine costume as much as possible. So Halloween will always have a special place in my heart. Anything that's related to Halloween, scary movies, slasher films, I will watch them. I love it. I don't jump easily, so I always try to watch new movies to kind of like see if they scare me. But Nightmare Before Christmas just speaks to that part of me that I've always loved as a child. I love the fact of Halloween being put into the spotlight and not in a slasher film, not in a scary ghost school movie. Like this,
Mm.
it was just really trying to add depth to it, and that's why I think it's just such a relevant and significant movie.
Yo, that was very well said. I don't even know if I could follow up behind
You
that
can't. You
because
can't. No.
I, all right, I'm gonna try. Hold on, give me a chance. I might be able to throw
Nah,
something
nah.
together.
I'm gonna do like Jack. I'm gonna take it. Nope.
All right. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Yes.
Don't fail me. Don't fail me.
Relevance and significance. Definitely. Halloween needs to have a spotlight on it for a lot of different reasons. Let's have some cheer. Let's share some love. Let's pass some beer around. Let's pass some candy around. Let's spread some joy and show that it is not such a dark holiday. It's a very, very happy one. It's a jovial one. It's a time that people are excited to dress up, etc. Because as a kid, I remember having those same emotions and feelings that you had. Waiting all month, like, mommy, daddy, what, are we going to get my costume yet? And my kids ask that now. They're talking by July and August. They like, oh, I know what I'm going to be for Halloween. And soon as Halloween passes, they've already having in mind what they want to be next year. Oh, I know I want to be for Halloween. It might change throughout the year, but this movie allows you to be a kid again, and it sheds that positive light on Halloween that was never shed before. It was always horror slasher, and this gives you that good feeling about it, and it always has a soft place in my heart. And it's going to be one of my top movies of all time. So, with that being said, we about to just let it fly. Pretty much, it's about to be anything goes. You know what I mean? But let's say this: I did watch Halloween Kills with the entire family. What was it? Wednesday night. The only person that didn't watch it was my youngest because he's too scared of that. Yo, the movie was fire. It was definitely fire. And like I said, me watching that, it got me
Really?
like, yeah, it was fire. Halloween Kills was fire. But just in
Ooh.
general,
I'm
it
gonna
got
wait.
me in the spirit and the mood of Halloween and what normally we consider Halloween as if you watching that sort of thing.
Okay. I'm gonna speak on this part with Halloween Kills. When you think about slasher films and you think about back in the day who we grew up with, okay, you had Michael Myers, you had Jason, you
Mm-hmm.
had Freddy Krueger.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the number of kills that they've had, right? You gotta give it to Michael and to Jason because they are known for slashing people. Freddy, not so much. I mean, he has killed some people, but like these two are like, no, we slashing and gashing as we go through.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills, I was hoping for a little bit more. I felt like they were trying to kind of rile up the community. And I'll try not to do too many spoilers, but they
Yeah.
tried to rile up the community to get them more involved. Because typically in all those movies, if any of you have watched any of the Halloween series, it's always really focused on the family. And this is like
Mm-hmm.
the one time that they actually tried to expand that to say everybody knows this dude's walking around killing people. Like that's the thing that gets me. Oh, dude, we know he's in a mask. We know
Yeah.
there's a white man going around killing people with a knife or whatever's available. And like we never seen any other actions come out of that. So I think in the last two films, this one and the
Mm-hmm.
one before, they really tried to tap into that. But I will say I'm glad it went the way that it did because I was like, look, if you're gonna kill off Michael Myers in this, we're gonna have a problem. I'm not saying if it happened or not, but all I gotta say
Yeah.
is that I would have had a major problem if they had gone that route.
Yeah.
But I do think that there were some key elements to it that I thought they dragged it a little bit too much for me. I wish there was a little bit more slashing, in my opinion, because it is Michael Myers. But
Mm-hmm.
that's just me. I like slasher films. I get so excited about those. I'm just like, the more the merrier. Because I mean, like,
Listen,
just do it. Just do
what
it.
about the comedy elements in there? Like, let's talk about how you had the gay couple, Big John, Little John. What was up
Listen,
with that?
listen. I laughed so hard at that because I was like, then I stopped and I said, wait a minute, did they play into this idea of trying to play to the idea of just like gay couples in general? Because like anytime they put any type of gay theme
Yeah.
into a movie, I'm always kind of giving it a side eye because either they're fetishizing it
Mm-hmm.
or they're minimalizing it to a point where it's like it's like you're making a mockery out of it. Now, in
Right.
this case, they had a family. It was a couple that were really doing well, and they showed that they were really in tune with each other. And of course, they played on the Little John, Big John, which you kind of have to say to yourself, where are you going with that? Because
Yeah.
most people's minds are going to go a certain place, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that they're trying to introduce gay couples into movies, but I hate how they introduce them sometimes. Like it just feels a little too forced. It feels
Yes.
like they're trying to play on us a little too much. But in this case, I mean, it was funny to see the guy from Mad TV, because I don't know how many of you have used to watch Mad TV back in the day.
And somebody was telling me, and I can't remember his face. I'm gonna assume that was Lil John. I mean, that was Big John.
Yes. Yeah, and he was the one who had played a steward on Mad TV.
Yeah.
I used to watch that all the time when I was a kid. Stayed up way past my bedtime trying to watch it because I thought Mad TV was much better than Saturday Night Live. That's just my opinion.
Mhm.
But I do think it was interesting that they had put them in there, and I was like, well, was it really necessary? Did you need to put them in there? And I also think that they had an interracial couple that was in there, which was also pretty
Yep.
interesting as well.
Yep.
But again, the way that they were killing people, I was like, hey, they kept it consistent across all the boards. They're like, we don't care your sexual orientation, what your sexual preference was, who you were dating. We count everybody, and that was
Fact.
like across the board.
Fact.
It's like I've seen in so many movies, they'll have more graphic deaths for minorities, or they won't show them being killed, meaning that their meaning of life is less of a value than others.
Mm.
So I see that in this movie, they really kept them across the board, regardless if you're gay, straight, white, black, all y'all getting killed the same way.
Yeah, they
And they also did
definitely.
have a black couple in there that was a nurse and a doctor, which I was like, oh, yay, we're
Yo,
not
well, let's not
prostitute
even
or a
talk
drug
about
dealer.
that situation because that's I don't want to give any spoilers, but that movie was definitely very well rounded. Much better than the last ones I've seen.
Yeah.
And as I said, normally in my house, I'm the one that watches that. My two oldest, they actually like that stuff now. So we watched It Chapter 1, we watched It Chapter 2 last week, back to back, and they was
Okay.
into it. So now they like, okay, well, let's watch Halloween. We want to watch
Had
that.
they
So
watched the original? Had they watched the original It?
no, they haven't. They might be scared of that one because that one creeped me out as a
That
kid.
one.
That one creeped me out
Listen,
as a kid. Tim Curry did his thing, so I don't
listen, Tim
know.
Curry in that movie was fantastic.
He was, and there's a movie that a lot of people don't know he plays in, and I might actually do that later on my next takeover. Is
Which
exactly.
one is it? Are you gonna do Clue? Or are you gonna do another one of his? Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Nope. Mm-mm. This
Ooh,
this
I'm
one
gonna go with
you
him.
probably never even seen it. You might
Oh,
because you nerdy.
I watch a lot
You
of
nerdy.
movies.
Yeah, you might have
I
seen
watch
it.
a
I'm
lot
not
of
going to tell you
movies.
which one. You'll find out when I talk
Okay.
about it. But I
Okay.
will do. I'll give you a hint.
He's one of my favorite actors, though.
There's a huge movie star right now. He's still relevant right now. He plays in, and I'm trying to tell you without telling you because then you'll know which movie. But he plays in a lot of sci-fi. What's the word I'm looking for? Like James Bondish sort of movies. He plays in those movies.
Mm.
The main character in this film does, and then Tim Curry is a supporting cast member in here, but he is in makeup so well that I had no idea that was him. That's all I'm gonna say, and he
Oh,
killed it.
okay. Okay.
So I'm gonna
I think
leave it at.
I'm gonna save my answer because I think I know which one you're talking about. But
We'll talk off camera on it. But
yeah,
yo, we've hit the hour. Before we
we
get there, let me
have.
talk about what's coming up next week.
Yeah, what's next? Let the
Next
people
week,
know.
this is the end of my month, and I'm ending it on a bang. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if you have not watched this series, I
Be
promise
careful.
you
Be
it
ready.
is freaking fire. You gotta watch
Mm.
it. It is called To Your Eternity. And I ain't gonna tell you much about it. Just check it out. And if you like it, if you don't like it, I'll be surprised. I'll tell you that. But I'm in love with this joint. I was almost ready to cry out here a couple times. It's
I
deep.
would say it's very emotional. It is
Yeah,
very emotional. If you're into that type of thing, it's very
it is.
emotional.
Definitely is. So, with that being said, listen, thank you guys for all showing up as y'all normally do. Shout
Always.
out to everybody that came through and show love. Listen, next Friday we got to, toast up to Lupita for always coming through and showing love, and it'll be her birthday, so we're gonna have to be like,
Mm.
hey, you know how we
Mm.
normally do.
Might have to bring
Make
her
sure,
on for a little bit, maybe.
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, we might,
We'll
we
see if
might.
she's interested.
Facts. We might have to do that. So, guys, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for supporting Black Nerd Fridays as
Follow.
always. And as
Right.
always, y'all, cheers to everybody out there. And we'll see y'all again every Friday, Black Nerd Fridays. Peace, guys.